something about the team.
Yeah, I have notes for everyone.
As do I, Dick. As do I. Anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you DC fans, to a very interesting video relating to an upcoming DC video game, which some of you might be excited for, and the rest of you might be extremely hesitant towards, especially considering the recent news that has occurred for this title. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am referring to Gotham Knights, which is being developed by Warner Bros. Montreal, which is the next game set within the Batman franchise, even though it is not set within the Arkham universe. And while I have made a few videos about this game in the past, I haven't necessarily been full-on hyped for it given everything that we've seen, and isn't necessarily anything that has made my jaw drop to the floor in excitement, considering that it does seem extremely formulaic in terms of its overall gameplay structure. Still, I am primarily a Marvel Games channel first and foremost, so if you do like anything that I am discussing pertaining to Gotham Knights and would like to hear more about my thoughts on the game in future videos, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are interested. However, I am still a major Batman fan, and I will personally withhold full-on judgment for this game until I'm actually able to play it for myself. But that actually isn't the main topic that I wanted to discuss for today's video, considering that there has been a lot of crazy news that has been occurring recently for this game, which unfortunately has been portraying it in an extremely bad light. But the truth of the matter is, I personally don't think that all this criticism towards Gotham Knights is all that unwarranted. Now, I was initially planning to just outright ignore talking about this topic altogether, considering that I'm not one to do massive exposing pieces on types of game development or overall news pertaining to games, whether that be drama or inside leaks. But this topic made the rounds so much yesterday that it ended up trending on Twitter on several occasions, not just pertaining to the game itself, but also surrounding this topic in general, which does revolve around this technical issue that should be implemented within all video games, especially considering how we are now in the current gen of consoles of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. And after doing a bit more digging on this subject, I am personally in the viewpoint that I believe that this decision coming from Warner Bros. Montreal is absolutely unacceptable. Now, for those unaware of the entire situation revolving around Gotham Knights, this all started on October 14th, where the big news that was revealed from Warner Bros. Montreal, which they thought was going to be the big draw of that day, is that they officially unveiled a free 4-player co-op mode that will launch in the game on November 29th of 2022, titled Gotham Knights Heroic Assault Mode. Despite there being 4 heroes with Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood, Gotham Knights' main campaign only supports single-player or 2-player co-op. This new mode, however, with Heroic Assault, will give 4 friends the chance to take on arena-based challenges and see how all 4 heroes can work together to take down Gotham's criminals. And while this might be seen as good news for some fans, considering that they have been wanting 4-player co-op to be featured in this game ever since its initial announcement, I am personally a little bit worried that we are starting to get more towards the vibe of Marvel's Avengers in comparison to what this game was initially set out to do. Still, it is nice to know that Gotham Knights is not going to be a live service game like Marvel's Avengers was, so this project is already taking a step in the right direction in comparison. That is until we receive the massive news drop from one of the main devs working on Gotham Knights of Fleur Marty, who did confirm that Gotham Knights, even though it is only releasing on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and also PC, will not come with a performance mode and will only run at 30 frames per second on consoles. And coming directly from the executive producer of Fleur Marty herself on the Gotham Knights Discord server, this is what she had to say on the matter, stating, "Hello everyone, I know many of you are wondering about the availability of a performance mode for Gotham Knights on consoles. Due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a fully untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed open world, it's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher FPS. For this reason, our game does not have a performance/quality toggle option and will run at 30 FPS on consoles." Now, I'll be the first to say that in no way am I a game developer by any means, and I will not act like I know anything about what goes into making a game run properly at 60 frames per second in comparison to the 30 FPS base status. Now, will this be an absolutely game-breaking issue for Gotham Knights? For me personally, I don't think so. But will this be a problematic issue? 100% yes. Even though I personally believe a 60 FPS performance mode should be added as a day one patch for a game like this, they would still be able to redeem themselves if they were to add it in the game at a later point. But this, everybody, is the main reason why I believe that this game was trending so much on Twitter the other day, as well as why I personally believe this to be an extremely unacceptable business practice. If you recall, Gotham Knights was originally planned to launch as a cross-generation game, which meant it was going to launch on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. But as we currently know, Warner Bros. Montreal decided to cancel the current and/or last-gen versions of Gotham Knights on the PS4 and Xbox One to then only release on the current and/or next-gen versions with the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Now, this is already a major issue considering that they originally marketed the game to be a cross-generation title and is already alienating a lot of their consumer base who was initially planning to play the game on their previous generation hardware, considering that it is still pretty difficult to find a next-gen console. Now, what this means is that Gotham Knights, unlike another upcoming superhero game like what we know of with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine, where those two titles are being exclusively developed from the ground up on next-generation hardware with the PlayStation 5, Gotham Knights is a cross-generation game that was initially developed to run on all types of platforms, which then canceled the previous generation versions to only then run on a more well-oriented manner on next-gen consoles, meaning that it can still be considered as a quote-unquote last-generation game. Now, if Gotham Knights were to also be releasing on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One to only cap off at 30 frames per second, that would actually make sense. But taking into consideration that we're now in the era of brand new next generation games, having 60 frames per second as the bare minimum, having a fully priced game at $70 not be able to include this feature, regardless of what type of game it is absolutely unacceptable in this day and age. And what's worse is that Gotham Knights releases worldwide next week on October 21st. And we didn't even hear about this news until someone decided to leak it out without the developer's permission, meaning that the only reason why Fleur Marty and Warner Bros. Montreal decided to address this issue is because someone forced it out into the light. And in reality, they would have probably kept it a secret all the way until launch. It's these types of business practices where it showcases that the development team and the publishers behind this project don't necessarily seem to show a whole lot of respect towards their consumer base, and is now making fans a lot more skeptical as to what other types of issues they might be potentially hiding for this game. Now again, if WB Montreal ends up adding a 60 FPS performance mode patch for Gotham Knights down the line, then everyone will let bygones be bygones. But keeping in mind that Gotham Knights was originally planned to be a cross-gen game, which then canceled the previous generation versions, only to then have a 30 FPS max cap at next-gen only, can definitely be understood by the majority of the general public why so many people have an issue with this. Now, for me personally, I definitely prefer playing my games on my PS5 at 60 FPS, considering that I find the overall experience to be a lot more smooth and fluid. But am I going to cancel my pre-order knowing that Gotham Knights is not going to be set at 60 FPS? No. But I am going to be extremely disappointed at WB Montreal for keeping this news a secret for so long instead of immediately telling their fan base that this was going to be the case the second that they delayed the previous generation versions. In the end, everybody, I'm not really all that hyped for Gotham Knights as a whole, but I am still willing to give it a fair shake by the time I play it on October 21st. And with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. What are your current thoughts on Gotham Knights after hearing all this news about the game? And are you not going to purchase it anymore now knowing that the game will not be running at 60 FPS on next-gen consoles? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more videos like this down the line. And without further ado, peace out.